All right, folks, you are live with Lonzo and Dusty. The day after Christmas, folks. We could not miss this week without doing a show. So we a little bit late, but we all right, folks. It's the last one of the year, folks. Is it? We'll find out shortly. From the East Coast to the West Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve After Dark to concerts in the park. You're live with Lonzo, the godfather of West Coast hip hop. And my main man in the dugout, all blue. Mr. Dusty, what's up with your doc?
Lonzo, what's going on, my man?
Oh man, just enjoying without the illusion of having some time off. That's about all. What's happening with you?
Same old same, man. I feel like the next week or so I have not much going on, but as soon as January hits, man, it's back to business.
Back to business. I'm back to business tonight, man. I got to start writing the newspaper. Talk to me, Doc. How was the holiday for you?
Man, the holiday was cool, man. Thankfully, I'm not sick anymore. Last week, I know you guys were watching. Me and Lonzo were hacking up lungs and sipping tea all through the show and just all sort of jacked up, man. So I'm doing good, man. I feel like $1 million today compared to last week. How about you?
You know what? I'm feeling fantastic, dude. I still had a little lingering cough this morning, but I coughed out some stuff, man. I think I might have gave oral birth to something because it was a monster, boy. But I've been feeling great ever since, so it's all good.
That's good. That's good. It's been going around, man. Like, I know that's a cliche and people say that, but this year, I got to say, this past month, shit's been going around.
That's real. I had to do a gig the night of your party. I had to do something. I had to do a gig that night, that same night. No, it was I did the gig last week. I had something else to do night of your party, and it hit me that day. And I was doing the parade, did some other stuff, and it hit me that night. I'm like, dude, man, I didn't want to go nowhere. It's like, nah. Eyes watering, nose running, everything was just a straight up waterfall from face to down to your chin, damn near. But it's all good.
Yeah, man. Well, a lot to talk about, man. Let's jump right into it, man. 2024, it's a wrap, pretty much, man. Do you partake in New Year's resolutions for the upcoming year, or you just kind of, set your own tone and do your own thing?
I kind of set my own tone and do my own thing, but I do have some type of resolutions I've implemented already.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's in the matrix.
Curtis he's on the line, but he got a window open, and yeah, so we're definitely in the matrix right about now. Let me try something else right quick. Hold on.
I think we're good now.
Try something else. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me try something else. Hold on 1 second there. See if we can do this right here. Give me 1 second, folks. Give me 1 second.
Dang. Hit that like button before you guys get nice and comfortable. Shout out to the chat fam. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. I know I had a good one, man. It's all about the kids nowadays. And if I can see the kids happy when they're opening their gifts and they're doing their thing, my little cousins and all that, that's what makes me happy, man. I don't need anything. I got everything I need, man. I'm blessed like that.
You know what, dude? People, what you want? Just peace of mind. Stay healthy, baby. That's it.
Health.
That's it. Health. That's it, baby. That's all the brother wants.
That's it. That's my main concern.
Man, I got off.
Uh-oh. Now we got twin Lonzos.
How we coming out?
Yeah, you sound good on my end.
We still stuck?
No, we good. We good. You sound good.
All right, let me change windows. Go back. There you go. All right, cool.
There we go.
No, man, I kind of listened to one of them self-help books, and it said the worst thing you can do is start New Year's Eve doing something. You got to start like October, November, so that it become a habit. And you know what? Today I experienced the effect of doing that firsthand. Today, my youngest daughter's birthday. Christian, happy birthday, baby. She turned 25, and every 25th birthday we take her out to lunch, and she loves going to Cheesecake Factory. Now, Cheesecake Factory for me is one of my weaknesses. Okay, that squaw bread.
Oh man, with the butter.
Yeah. the butter, especially when it comes straight out the oven, and the cheesecake. Okay. Now, today we went to lunch. I got my normal, but I like the Parmesan chicken. I only ate one piece of it, and I had one scoop, or even a small scoop of cheesecake, because I'm almost as much as I'm starting to work out, I realize the effect that sugar has on your body. So although I did kind of cheat on the squaw bread. I had two or three of those, but everything else was kind of real mild, man. And just when you start seeing some of the results, especially going into the new year, it just keeps you motivated, Doc. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I just kind of started my whole little resolution thing earlier this year. So as I'm starting to get, even yesterday, I was at a family gathering, and normally I'm knocking down 2-3 plates. Nah, I'm gonna have a half a plate, and just put some on my stomach. I ain't trying to do like I used to do, and I feel the difference.
Same here, man. Same here. I lost a few pounds myself, and I was almost forced to, Lonzo. I'm gonna share something with you that I haven't shared with the show, but about a month and a half ago, I went in for my yearly physical, and everything checked out, but for whatever reasons, my blood pressure was through the roof. When I say through the roof, I mean through the roof, bro. And I'm thinking I'm relatively healthy. I have the normal stresses that a regular normal person has with work and family and things and trying to balance life and all that. But they put me on blood pressure medication, man. And I am 46, 47 years old on blood pressure medication, man. So what I did is I changed a few things of my diet. No more bacon, no more fried this, and even during the holidays, man, I was like you said, instead of going for that third plate, I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and just chill on that. Thankfully it's dropped substantially just on the few changes that I made on my lifestyle, personally. But I'm really just telling everybody out there, man, to be very cautious of your body. I don't know if we said it on this show, but you want to take care of your body now so you're not forced to later. And that's probably the biggest thing, that I've learned this year in 2024, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like you said, I got a call last week. One of my daughter's stepsisters, 51, had a heart attack, checked out. I mean, just the other day. And it's just one of those things. 51.
Man.
51. So getting up, since I've been working out, my body craves it now. Like, dude, get your ass up, let's go do something. It's just a whole nother demand. I didn't go today, but I still looked at my new watch. I got in, about almost 2 miles just walking around. So I'm good. I'm good.
Good, man. Good, man. It's all about health, man. Let's jump right into it, Lonzo. There's a few things I want to discuss tonight that happened in 2024 that I would love your thoughts on. We're going to talk about some celebrity deaths that affect us all. But before we do that, I came across a quote that I would love your thoughts on, man. It's one of those quotes where I read it and I'm like, what would Lonzo think? But the quote is, acting broke is how you get rich. Acting rich is how you go broke. When you hear that, what do you think, man?
I've heard that goes back to another term I learned as a kid: fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. Okay. But the other one, that's what gets you broke. Trying to look rich will get you broke quick, fast, in a hurry, because now you're doing stuff is way out of your pay grade. And you're trying to live up to something that either somebody else has set a standard that you're trying to live up to, or a social media standard, or a clique that you're running with that has this new standard. And it will just financially drain you. And you're trying to do something that you really ain't in position to do. And it will never work, Doc. Never, ever, ever.
Nope, it ain't. How influential is hip hop and rap music to people living outside of their means? They see this rapper who they think has a lot of money, all these fast cars, beautiful women, big old houses, and they think that that they emulate that. How how influential you think hip hop is in that sense?
You know, it's really sad, man. It has a lot of influence because people look at a lot of these kids, a lot of these people don't vet the people that they are trying to emulate. They go by face value. So and so said, and this has been a problem for hip hop for a long time because hip hop has always been a braggadocious, look what I got type of situation, and people don't know how you got it, how long you gonna have it.
Yeah.
Okay, because you can rent anything. You can rent money. Okay, you rent watches, you can rent houses, you can rent cars, and when you see people trying to do that, and it's not even necessary. You know, I saw a situation recently where I was at an event and somebody pulled up in a Bentley. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Hope that's your Bentley because it wasn't. You know, if it's yours, good. But if you just got that thing just to be a part of this event, you're trying to do something that ain't really necessary. Unless you got it like that, then that's something else. But you know, it just and you never know. You never know who's front. You never know who's serious. You never know who's doing what, Doc. So you know, people, a lot, especially in the social media era, they get conned.
Uh-oh. I think he's in the Matrix again. Let me see if I can fix. Oh. We'll wait for him to get out of the Matrix. I think YouTube is still recovering from Christmas. There you go. Oh, now I can't hear you.
I ain't touching nothing.
Oh, there we go. Now I hear you.
All right, cool. We could.
I think YouTube is a little hungover today.
It might be because everything over here is straight.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about something else, Lonzo. Can you name your top 5 albums of all time? Just whether it be R&B, hip hop, funk, soul. What are if you could put 5 albums in Lonzo's top 5 that you say, I don't know, influenced you, you know, just made you a better person, I don't know, made you think differently about music. What would your top 5 albums of all time be from any genre?
I got to say the Guy album, the first one.
Okay.
I played from I never took it out of my damn CD player. The Guy album, Snoop's album, Doggy Style. That's a good one. I'm a big Dramatics fan, so any album they've ever made in the past 30 years would go on my doggone my player and stay on my playlist indefinitely. Tupac, anything Tupac did. Tupac was my dude. I'm a big Tupac fan, and man, just I'm a big Lauryn Hill fan as well. Her album,
that was a great album.
That was a great album. So I mean, you know, there's a lot of other albums that can make that list. That list can get deeper, but when you ask just off the top of my head, people that I still rock with today, you know, those would be some of those people. Why you ask?
You know, I'm just curious, man, because I want to know what influenced Lonzo in a music sense. What were you listening to heavy when you were recording your first album? Like, what was in the background? You know what I mean? Not saying that it influenced you and you copied it and this and that, but what were you listening to that, you know, helped you maybe write your first album?
We'd already have been heavily influenced by Soul Sonic Force just from Eve After Dark. That was our go-to. Although I was crazy about Houdini. Houdini was doing big things, man. Houdini wasn't out yet though. I'm sorry. I met Houdini on my second album. But yeah, I didn't have a lot of rap people. Grandmaster Flash Furious 5 was always a influence. What's that group? What people do for money? Something Sounds.
What? Oh, for the love of money, not for what people do for money.
Yeah. Divine Sounds. I think it was Divine Sounds.
Yeah, Divine Sounds. Yep.
That was a big influential song. We originally got influenced by Run DMC. If you listen to Slice, that something ain't nothing but a Run DMC song with an East Coast twist on it. So I mean, I've always had multiple musical influences just on the era in which I was raised. Okay, you got to understand. My mom was a jazz lover. My sister was a soul and R&B lover. My dad liked country and western. So whoever car I was in, that's what I listened to. So I learned to appreciate Cannonball Adderley from the jazz era. I learned to appreciate Lonnie Liston Smith. I learned to appreciate dramatics. I learned to appreciate Willie Nelson, to Ray Charles. So, you know, when you think about a kid that has a real eclectic, plus you got to understand, in those days in black and white radio, they didn't have a lot of segregation. If it was a good song, David Bowie would end up on a radio station, on the black radio station. Same thing with my boy from Benny and the Jets, Elton John.
Oh yeah, he's hard.
It would end up on an R&B radio station. And when I think about the, you know, we listen to Gino Vanelli and the Blue Eyed Soul, the Michael McDonald. And I'm playing Michael McDonald at Alpine Village, man. And folks is grooving. So it was it's a whole different, you know, mindset when it comes to the different genres of music that people are raised, especially me. I was raised on, and I'm still listening to, you know, Temptations and Curtis Mayfield, all that right there. And when you raised on the Curtis Mayfields and the Temptations and Sly and the Family Stone, it's hard to become a gangster. You know, you know, it's hard to become a gangster. I don't know how this thing. I'm trying to kick this thing out to keep popping back in. They say, oh, so anyway, I'm gonna leave them off screen. So yeah, Doc, my musical influences. Man, my USB drives in my truck are so diverse, it's just ridiculous. It has no consistency whatsoever. I'm not a all rap fan, all R&B, all black music. I'm not. I'm just a music lover, and you know everything comes in. I had a song that was influenced by Three Dog Night, and I bet you ain't a person on this damn, including you, know who I'm talking about.
Ooh, I know Three Dog Night, the group, but the song. But the song, you have a song, huh? That's influenced by them?
It was Lonzo Told Me Not to Come. Okay. It was patterned after Mama Told Me Not to Come. Okay. All right. Lonzo Told Me Not to Go. Fat Rat, my boy Fat Rat did it on my last album, and it was like he was trying to do something. Fat Rat, don't go to that party, man. That party ain't. Oh, now there's gonna be some girls that look Fat Rat, and he got. He tells this crazy ass story about how this party got crazy. Lonzo told me not to go, you know, and that was the hook. Lonzo told me not to go, but I'm again. That's about, you know, because that shit happens, you know, in real life. People do that party. That party, based on where it is, who's giving it, that's probably going to be a problem. And everybody know more than you do. Oh man, it's going to be all right. It's going to be some honeys there. Woo 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 woo. And okay, all right. And that was the story behind the Lonzo Told Me Not to Go.
I love that.
Inspired by Three Dog Night.
Damn. Let me ask you, we had a birthday party at our house. A family member who is celebrating their birthday around the same time as Christmas. So we played, as our people love to play, we played Happy Birthday by Stevie Wonder. Best birthday song ever, in my opinion. But yeah, we don't. For anyone who doesn't know, we don't do the happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. We do the happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. For anyone who doesn't know, but we played that song, and a younger cat, significantly younger than me, asked me in a respectful way. He asked me, "Why did people love Stevie Wonder so much?" And I was just a little bit too young to answer that question. I said, man, that's a good question. I understand the music. The music is beautiful, but I think I need to talk to someone, you know, older in that sense. So that's why I'm bringing that question to you, Lonzo. Why did people love Stevie Wonder so much?
Stevie Wonder's album, Songs in the Key of Life, that would probably be the number one source of the love. Because before then, he was doing the Motown thing. He was doing Everybody say yeah, that kind of stuff. Okay, and that was a party jam back in the day. That was a party jam. Okay, then he had Hey Love. But when he hit songs in the key of life in that era, because that was like the late 70s, if I ain't mistaken. I was in high school. That album just resonated, man. And Stevie has always been about the love of the black people. He was a part of the Martin Luther King birthday movement, and he was that dude that you couldn't hate on him. He blind. You can't hate on the blind man. I'm giving them what he do. You can't hate on the blind man. You can't hate on him. Okay. And he just always expressed love for his people, for the community, whatever he was involved in. His radio station's been around forever. He will not sell it. You know, they've offered him millions for that station. He's the only black-owned station independently black-owned station in California, and probably decided the Mason-Dixon line, to my knowledge.
For anyone who doesn't know, what station are you talking about?
KGLH.
Yeah.
Kind of joy, love, and happiness. All right. He's been a part of, he's been on that since the 70s, man. And he struggled. It wasn't always a cash cow. It's been struggles, but he still hung in there. And he just, all his songs are about love, man. When you got somebody that just promotes not just sex, but love, it makes a big difference. It's a big difference. And I think that's the image. He's been promoted as that. And I also think because he's blind, that also gives him a little bit more of an insight that people, it gives him more of an insight to people's hearts than the average person.
Gotcha. Owning your own song is big. Owning a record label is big, but owning a radio station, that's huge. Especially 40, 50, whatever years ago we're talking. Do you know can you explain to us how hard that must have been back then, if you know?
Back then, radio stations were a lot easier to acquire. You might have bought it for $500,000. That was a lot of money back then. I don't know for sure what the original price was, but you bought the license. You had to be licensed to a city. KGLH is licensed to Compton. Okay, did you know that?
I did. From this show, obviously.
Right. KGLH is licensed to Compton, and they had their main office was originally on Crenshaw, right next to the Angelus Funeral Home. And it was always been a community station. Just been there for Martin Luther King when my boy Lee Bailey was on there doing his Martin Luther King I Have a Dream. I saw the mountain. I forgot what it's called. He used to do a show for Radioscope. Top of the mountaintop, or I Had a Dream, something like that. But it's always been that black station. It's always been that black centerpiece for the city of LA. And that's another thing. He's always been you'll see Stevie if you go out of the station, he'll be over there hanging out. He's not that kind of cat. He's not a hands-off type of person. He'll fall through there and hang out. He comes to events. I got pictures with him at from the men's empowerment and the prostate cancer walk.
Thank you, Alex Valentine. Appreciate you. That's a new name right there that I don't recognize, but he has a question. Let's give him some love. Alex Valentine says, when Arabian Prince was on your show, did you ever ask him who that rapper Sideshow on his last album was? I'm dying to know.
Sideshow. No, I didn't ask him who Sideshow was. His last album. Knowing Arabian Prince is probably just a handful of people, because he likes to run. Him and Unknown and Big Slip and a few other folks, they got their clicks and they dip and dab in aliases all the time. So it might probably one of the homies just didn't want to use his other stage name, but I can find out for you, Alex. I appreciate the donation as well. Much love to you, but I'll find out. I can find out. That's not a problem. I ain't got my phone on me right now, or I would call him.
Yeah, that's a real hip hop question right there. This Alex Valentine dude knows his West Coast hip hop, man, because he does deep.
I tell you what, Dusty. Let me go get my phone. I'll be right back. Talk.
Go ahead, do your thing. Yeah, everybody, what's up? What's up? Make sure you guys hit that like button. We are about halfway through the show, and I just want to appreciate thank you guys for joining us for another year. 2024 just flew by, and we're looking to do big things in 2025. I know you guys have been appreciating the interview aspect that we've added to the show, and we're definitely going to get some more interviews, some exclusive stuff for all of you out there. So if you don't have the notification bell button, go on and hit that notification bell button, because that's the best way to get notified whenever we drop some content right here on this channel. And I will ask you to follow my channel as well. Subscribe to my channel, Dusty Vision TV, right here on YouTube. And Lonzo grabbed his phone. We're going to see if we can get Arabian Prince on the show to get Alex Valentine's question answered on, did he ever say who that rapper Sideshow on his last album was? Which is Where's My Bees?
Let's give him a call and see. He might be on the golf course, but it might be done. He should be done by now. Let's see what he talks. See if I can catch him.
Arabian Prince, Where's My Bees? Recorded in 1993. So definitely a little bit later in his career. Yeah, he's on that golf course.
Ain't no telling.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this project. I'm gonna have to jump into the.
I'm gonna hit him back.
Check it out.
For sure. We're gonna give that a search, Alex. If we call back for the show, though, we'll get an answer for you right quick. All right, what we got, Doc? What we got
There
next?
it is, man. All right, I came across another post that. Oh, shout out to OG Steve too, man. Lonzo and Dusty, what's good, fellas? Bronx in the building. Love you, OG Steve. Appreciate you very much, man. Came across a post and I said, how would Lonzo answer this? But scrolling through Instagram, I came across a meme that said, prior to 1960, 80% of Black households were headed by a married couple. What happened? So I'm going to ask you, because you come from that generation. We are 20 years apart, and it completely flipped in my generation. When I was a kid, I was lucky if there was one father on the block, literally. When you were a kid, it was weird if there was one family that didn't have a father in the house. But I'm going to ask you, what happened, man? Why were 80% of Black households headed by married couples prior to 1960?
Because anybody that wanted to raise a family back in the 60s, you need a team. Man, a woman could usually back then, the women didn't work. Most of the women didn't work. Some of them had jobs, but most of them didn't work because the man could make enough money to take care of everything that was needed, the house note, the car note, and she can go shopping and do it. I ain't talking about going to no Beverly Hills shopping. She can go to the store, get what she need. And for the most part, if he had a job and a decent hustle like my dad did, you can make it. You would be all right. It wasn't a big issue. And a lot of people came from the South, and they came as couples. A lot of people came from the South as couples, come to claim their stake here in California, and that was the mindset. And you could buy a house. House costs you $6.
Thank you again, Alex. Wow, shot another 10 to us. Appreciate you, man.
Doc, thank you very much. You could buy a house, man. A house was $6,000-7,000, dude.
Mm-hmm.
4, 3, 4, 5, 3,500, 44,000. I think my house, my daddy done bought, man, where I grew up at, cost like 4-5 G's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. House note, 30-year note might have been $60 a month. And that some bitch was, people still was foreclosing back then. Okay. But yeah, it was just a dip. And what shifted it, I think when in the late 60s and early 70s, when they started telling women they didn't need men, the liberation kicked in. And if you don't have a man in the house, we'll make sure that you get food for your kids. But you can't have a man in the house. You cannot have a man in the house, no way, form, or fashion. In fact, if you ever watched that movie Claudine, that was set in the 60s. And that's when it started to happen. When women were told they didn't need men, and we're going to subsidize the lack of the finances from the black man with these various checks. But here the rules are, okay? You gotta do it. You can't have no man in your house. You can't, you can go get pregnant, but he can't live with his kids. So, and then men were being penalized. The women were being penalized, so they kind of put a wedge between the black men. Then it was just became such a social nightmare to get money. And then they almost started rewarding women for getting pregnant and not having a father involved. So now you get more money, the more kids you got, the more babies you got, the more bigger your check is. You get crystal stairs and all these other benefits in Section 8. So it just became it became very profitable at one point in time. And here's the crazy part, okay? When you think about, I say the word profitable, I'm not talking about you balling out of control. If you don't want to work in the first place, okay, and you getting enough money to do what you got to get done based on the amount of kids you have and the other benefits, rent is minimum, crystal stairs is minimum, and you still can do your little hustles or whatever, you got a decent base. You might have $1,300, $1,400 with your base. You ain't got your rent, ain't maybe $75, $80. Your kids, and here's the bad part. People gonna get mad at me, but sometimes, folks is eating top ramen and they got money, but sometimes the priorities are different. And you slinging a bunch of sugar, McDonald's, all the stuff that all the things they don't need, and that's why even when it comes down to kids' health and in childhood diabetes, how even grown men are having prostate cancer earlier. A lot of that's because they were raised on food that was not healthy. And instead of, like I did, I just started eating fast food when I was like 15, 16. So my prostate wasn't exposed to those chemicals till later in life. But nowadays, things are different. And your body's exposed to different things that your body can't recognize. And things happen sooner. So yeah, you're always going to get me on the prostate cancer thing. Anyway, you got a situation where it became more beneficial not to have a man, and if you get somebody with a you got baby daddy over here, or you either got the government kicking in, or he got a good job, he kicking in. And the hustle became the hustle, man. And the hustle's been around. It became a hustle, dude. And the hustle's been tough. It's been around. It's been hard on men because a lot of men still love their kids, and you can't. Mama's in charge. Mama's in charge. So, and then you got other social aspects that, if I say on this channel, they probably shut this down. But sometimes mama can change teams, and can't nobody say nothing. And so now you got two players with the same jersey, and everybody living good because everybody got the same benefits from the same different people.
Why do you think it isn't regulated more? Why do you think it isn't regulated more?
What what's
that whole system period? Just when we're talking, financially, women getting stuff financially, the men, where's that money going? Basically, no one's keeping track of where that money's going.
Nobody cares, man. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's not a situation that people care about. And as long as you say you qualify to get certain things and get what you got, as long as you qualify to get what you got, what you're supposed to get, and forget how you spend it. If you start regulating how you spend it, you're gonna change the attitude on how it's acquired. There's nothing that says that child support has to be spent on the child. It don't say that nowhere. Child support can be spent on hair, rent, food, vacations, clothes for the mama and anybody else. It has nothing, no stipulations whatsoever. There's no accounting towards. There's no accounting for how child support is spent. There's no accounting. I mean, I think there's one state is actually issuing like an EBT card for child support, and certain things like an EBT card, you can't spend money on certain things using this money right here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't work around it, but still, it is what it is.
Yeah. Man, crazy situation, man. Let's move on, Lonzo. Before we continue, I'm gonna remind everybody to hit that like button if you haven't already, and please hit that subscribe button If this is your first time joining the channel and you're entertained by what you hear, you are tuned in to N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo, with the godfather of West Coast hip hop, Alonzo Williams. Do your Google searches, go down that rabbit hole, and you will be amazed at this man's history right here and what he's done for West Coast hip hop. I am Dusty Vision. Let's talk about 2024, Alonzo. We had a bunch of unfortunate deaths in 2024. So what I want to do for the remainder of the show, and we'll even squeeze in questions from the audience if anyone has any questions, but I would love to talk about some of the deaths that, you know, may have affected us the most, or maybe had an impact on our life in the past. But here are a few, and then you can give a full story on them. You can give a couple word answer, whatever you feel the need to do. But let's start with this one, Lonzo. We lost Frankie Beverly this year. Talk to us about Frankie Beverly, man.
Frankie Beverly, I think he's probably one of the musical icons for Black America. His music, like Stevie Wonder's music, has always talked about love. It's always been uplifting. It's not spiritual, but it's spiritual. It makes you feel good. It makes you think. It makes you appreciate songwriting, musicianship. Frankie was probably the only Black act I could think of that can, make a phone call and fill up an arena in a few minutes. When Frankie and Beverly and Mays did the Gardena Jazz Festival a few years back, that thing sold out in like a few hours. And that was just, I don't know how it happened, but they were available that date. And they brought him to Raleigh Park, and it just changed everything, man. And Frankie Beverly was that dude. He wasn't a fancy dude. He wears white hat, his little white outfit, but he emitted soul, man. He just resonated soul and just good vibes. You don't go to a Frankie Beverly and Mays concert and hear about no bullshit. Everybody grooving, doc. Everybody having a good time because the music won't allow nothing like other than that to happen.
Let me give you another one. John Amos. We lost John Amos. How did America, talk to us about John Amos, but how did America and specifically Black America view John Amos on the TV screen?
Man, he was that dude. John Amos, I call him Amos. John Amos was that dude from the time he was a good time to when he played Kunta Kinte, when he was I just watched him play the cop, him and Faison playing cop in
was John Amos Kunta Kinte, or was that was Lavelle? Wasn't that the Rita Ranger?
I think John became the old Kunta Kinte.
No, you're right. You're right. Keep going. My bad.
He was, what's his name? Started off as a young Kunta. Then John, they finally started wrapping up. John was the older Kunta. But yeah, he's always had that macho appeal. Even when they cast him in 2.5 Men as a gay sailor, I'm like, yeah, but he never sissified himself. You know what I'm saying? He made it work. He made it work. I mean, it was hard to see. I guess probably need to check like anybody else, but he never sold himself out to play that role. Him and Stacy Keach on 2.5 Men played the role of two gay lovers from their Navy days, and at one point in time, they were regulars on the show. They talk shit back and forth to each other, but it was always macho shit. They never did feminize it too much, and it made it tolerable, I guess. You looked at it as being a joke. I couldn't take him serious at that role. It was funny, but I couldn't take him serious because he just don't have that. He don't have that look to be anything other than a heterosexual dude. Just that's my opinion. And yes, Rico, Spider Rico, he was probably one of the best dads on TV. He didn't take no stuff from nobody. Florida, the kids, the police. No, man, y'all, he doing that. Okay. James was bad. That's why James got fired. James like, man, y'all got this silly dude. I mean, JJ was cool, but JJ was goofy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Florida was actually older than JJ. I mean, older than James Evans. She was like 40 something, damn near 50 when she was playing Florida. And James and I think James and JJ, they had at the same age, something like that.
Damn, I didn't know that. Hey, talking about that show, I know people love JJ Walker, but how was he portrayed? What am I trying to say? Was there a certain section of Black America that saw him as a character that didn't make Black people look good?
Who, JJ?
Yeah, with the dynamite and all that. Was that really a big thing, or were they not tripping like that?
We was still happy to have Black folks on television. There were, of course, always critics about JJ's his character, but because the Ernie Barnes paintings that he became famous for, making on the set, that kind of gave his character, although goofy, a different kind of talent that nobody else really had. We know he wasn't drawn, but that was his character, to draw them Ernie Barnes looking pictures, and supposed to be some super player. We know he was, but I did know a buddy of mine that was like that. He was not a handsome dude at all, and you thought he was just a macaroni with the right pair of hats and a pair of bell bottoms. You swear he was just doing way too much. But yeah, I think we needed that comic relief. But unfortunately for us, when we get our comic relief comes from some over the top clown, over the top, just shy of cooning, and I think JJ stepped all over the coon line. But yeah.
What about James Earl Jones? We lost James Earl Jones in 2024. Was he a big inspiration to our people as well?
That dude was a noble type of character, man. I never met the man personally, but maybe because of his voice and his presence and some of the parts he's played in various movies, you never seen him sell himself short. He always played a strong Black character, and I think that maybe helped his image to us overall. Just somebody to respect, just like Lou Gossett. Lou Gossett was somebody to respect. We just felt that way. I didn't really know the dude, but I've never seen him embarrass himself. Again, you got to remember also, these people came from a whole different era, even from one that was deeper than mine. So dignity was a big part of what they had to represent, because at one point in time, those guys represented the Black community. They were the faces of the Black community, and they had an obligation in the time and the era in which they had their heyday. They had an obligation to the Black community, just like Kareem, just like Jim Brown and Jim Kelly, and who else was four of them? Jim Brown, Jim Kelly, Kareem, and Ali. When they all got together, dude, they represented the Black community. They were the stand-up dudes. Hey, man, we not going for this right here. We're holding a press conference. This is what's happening. And those guys were the guys to emulate. And James Earl Jones was one of those dudes. I don't recall him, I don't recall him being in, having a news conference, but his persona represented that era.
Talk to us about, this is one that was as of recent, so we talked a whole lot about him, but let's break it down for 2024 purposes. But the great Quincy Jones, man, how important was he to just music and everything in general?
When it came to music, Quincy was hard to beat. When I got into music, Quincy's name had been popping up for decades in various genres of music. I met him at the premiere of Straight Outta Compton. He was in a wheelchair then. Quincy Jones, although he was loved by the Black community, when he married that white girl, he kind of fell off a little bit. He married Peggy Lipton from the Mod Squad. That was just one of his first white wives that we know of. And that was a big deal back in the 70s. That was a big deal. And then shortly after that, I think that's when he had his brain aneurysm. or something kind of brain tumor or something, and but she stayed down with him. So it is and it's the music game, man. So um, I had a lot of respect for the brother, put it that way. I had a lot of respect for him. Don't know nothing about his backstory, his private life. I can't speak on that. I won't speak on that. But they always had a great, respectable facade when it came to black folks.
Someone we almost lost, Lonzo, and I'm very curious if you've seen his most recent stand-up comedy show, but we almost lost Jamie Foxx this year. Did you happen to see his stand-up show? I'm just curious.
I did. I was one of the first people to watch it when it came
Lonzo,
out.
I have never, and I'm a big Jamie Foxx supporter. I've always loved him, going back to In Living Color and all his movies. Great, one of the best actors in my opinion. Period. But when I watched that, first of all, I cried like a little bit. I was shedding little tears, can't lie. And I've never watched a stand-up comedy show that made me appreciate life like that, man. I mean, it, the way he broke it down the first 10 minutes, it was like hard for him to even get through telling the story. You know what I mean? Let alone a watcher. And anyone out there who hasn't seen that, I would highly suggest you watching Jamie Foxx's recent stand-up comedy show on Netflix. It's blew my mind. But I don't know. Talk to us about Jamie Foxx, man, and your thoughts when you watched his recent show.
Being that I had a friend of mine who suffered a stroke around the same time, I thought about him doing while I was watching the Jamie Foxx special, and then after the Jamie Foxx special went off, my buddy called me. He said, "So, Jamie Foxx said I walked the same path of Jamie Foxx, dude." He said, "For 29 days, I don't remember shit in my life. For 29 days, I have no memory whatsoever of what happened those days." And he said it resonated with him. He said it resonated with him personally because he's been there, and that's something that I have to commend him for, because all the speculation, he clowning Cat Williams, a mystery illness. That shit was hilarious. But he was able to find some humor in a situation that, for the most part, wasn't funny at all. If you ever seen somebody that went through a stroke, like I have, that shit ain't funny. It's hard to make light of that shit. But he was able to, tell the story and make us not only appreciate him coming back, but appreciate his talents. You forget Jamie sing his ass off. You forget Jamie ain't just a comedian, okay? Jamie's a multi-talented individual. They don't make a lot of them no more. You don't see a whole lot of them. You got people that can tell jokes and maybe sing a little bit, but this dude acted his ass off. You got rappers that can act certain parts. They got the same part every time. Jamie Foxx he played all kinds of superheroes. He played cops. He played women. He played all kinds of stuff in his career, and did a very good job. He could play blind. He played Ray Charles to the great job of playing Ray Charles. All right, only brother I would think that was more just as talented with him probably was Chadwick Boseman, who played James Brown. When it came down to people playing other celebrities, them two boys did the best job I've ever seen, and along with Angela Bassett doing Tina Turner. But to see Jamie Foxx be up and around after going through what he went through, and being able to tell the story with his daughter by his side, man, that was some real shit. Comedians, I've heard reviews. Well, it wasn't stand up. It was a show. It wasn't just a stand-up comedy event. It was a stand-up comedy show. It was a show where this man did his comedy. He told stories. He sang. He showed love for his daughter and his audience. Hard to beat that, dude. I don't think anybody can do that.
Yeah, it was amazing. And once again, I encourage anybody out there who is just a fan of life, period, check it out. Just give it a shot. Just sit down for the next 5 minutes. If you can make it through the first 5 minutes without balling, you're good. You can make it through the rest. It's really, really dope. Man, yeah. But let's talk about a few more losses that we had this year, Lonzo, before we wrap it up. We got about 8 more minutes. Let's talk about O.J. Simpson, man. I mean, someone who's inspirational on the football field, but obviously I knew him a little bit different as the guy who took the police through a high-speed chase back in the 90s, interrupted the football game, the basketball game, if I'm not mistaken. But talk to us about O.J. Simpson, man, just, from beginning to middle to end.
OJ was a different kind of dude from the very beginning. He was one of those guys that was always the acceptable black dude. I remember as a kid, he had a Hertz commercial. He's running through the airport over baggages and stuff, different bags. That was his thing, the juice. I remember when he got involved with the honey baked ham situation and to make it, and selling high blood pressure, the brothers and sisters covered in ham, covered in honey. He was always that dude that white folks loved. Brothers respected him. Then he started making movies. I remember he started making the Top Gun,
Naked Gun
movies, Naked Gun movies. That shit was funny. It was over the top. Never, those movies will never happen again. Okay, he was that dude. I remember he had his own movie one time where he was a bus driver and the bus caught a flat tire in the middle of the desert, and he had to run through the desert to save the white people. Okay. That was the only movie I've ever seen him in. He's running through the desert, hauling ass through the desert. Okay, this is back in the 70s when he had I guess he just got his acting chops together. I think he was a bus driver or a passenger, but the bus had a flat middle of the desert, and he had to run through the desert to save everybody. OJ, like he said, he's not black, he's OJ. We pulled for him. We pulled for him when he was caught up in the case. We all was confused why he had to go get Al Callen to drive him around in that slow speed chase. When he came back home, I never took my eyes off that thing. I watched it from the very beginning. That was one of those situations. I was working from home. I kept a TV on my desk, and I was locked into that whole situation. Everything from the slow speed chase to the if it don't fit, it must have quit. And including the riots and everything else that followed that, man. And it just he showed me something about people that I'll never forget. As many times we've witnessed injustice in various ways, whether it was Rodney King or whatever. Some people can't take the fact that somebody else won, whether it was right or wrong. Somebody else won. Forget how you felt. Like you tell us, that's the law. He was convicted. He was acquitted by a jury of his peers, and we have to take that. But folks was mad. But I tell you what, first thing he did is ran his ass back to the hood. I remember he was here. He was over at Bertha's. Either Bertha's or Aunt Kizzy's, one of those black soul food restaurants, hanging out on Crenshaw. Hanging out. He came back to the hood real quick. Those are the kind of things I remember. I never met him before. I've been in his presence before. We've never really had a conversation. I've been in his presence. When you get back, if you got around OJ, you couldn't get close to OJ unless you was somebody major. He didn't have a lot of up and coming people around him at that time. He was pretty much, that's in the days of wide world of sports. So he had his jacket on, and I was doing something. I think we had the Raiderette tryouts or Raider tryouts. Something I should be a cameraman for a buddy of mine. He did a lot of stuff for the Raiderettes, and OJ fell through it, and you couldn't get nowhere near him. But anyway, he was just, I thought he was stupid as hell. I thought when he got away and kept throwing rocks at the penitentiary by what if I did? He wrote a book of what if I did it or something like that. Negro. Everybody in the world hate your ass, and you write a book called What If I Did It? Okay. Then you want to be a gangster. You start listening to N.W.A, and all of a sudden you want to be a gangster. You're going to grab a rusty ass gun, go upstairs into a Las Vegas hotel room and recover some of your shit that somebody else got hold to. What you going to do? Just punk him out of it? And you see what happened. 8 years in pen. 8 years. Okay. Because your ego would not let you not be OJ. The fact that you got away with You got accused and got away with double murder was not good enough. You had to go try another way to prove your man. I don't prove whatever you wanted to prove, but it wasn't worth it. But you know, he died on the Goldman family, and whatever his lawyer put together for him, where he was able to get 25 racks a month and couldn't nobody touch it. That would have to be the coldest thing in the world. He got 25 racks a month, and they couldn't do a damn thing about it. All the money they sued him for, that money right there was not touchable. I need some of that in my life.
Man, Lonzo, that flew by. We got a couple more minutes, and I want to do something a little bit differently, being that it's the end of 2024, going into 2025. But can you give some advice out there to people out there entering 2025? I don't know, something that you may have learned this year, something that you may have learned in the past that you would like to spread out to our audience out there. Can you drop some game and advice, Alonzo style, to the people out there who support our show?
You know, somebody told me something the other day, and when he said it to me, it rang so many bells. And it simply was this right here. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So when folks telling you, oh man, you shouldn't be, worry about that, but people that's gonna be taking no. Find out what's going on around in your world. Keep it, man. I'm putting the run for I'm thinking about running a neighborhood council, not city council, neighborhood council, just to know what's going on in my community, man. And being the president of the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce gets me into places I normally wouldn't get in as a normal citizen. And if I did, I wouldn't have any real, I'm gonna say ranking, but any real influence. But having that title gives you a little more influence. And I'm learning that the only way you're gonna be able to have an influence in your community, in your world, you got to step up. You got to step up. Step up or step back, 1 to 2. Step up, step back, lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Can't think of a better way to end it, man. Why don't you hit him with the outro, Lonzo? Peace out to everyone. Thank you guys for joining us for another year. We will see you next week. Go for it.
All right, folks. For those who never heard of me, I'm the first one to put Dr. Dre in the surgery, stuck Ice Cube in the freezer till he got cold. On the eve after dark, 50-yard line at the Super Bowl. In the movie Straight Outta Compton, they played me like a hater of rap. Don't believe that Hollywood bullshit, because it was all cap. My history goes deeper than you will ever know. Just remember that N.W.A. stands for Not Without Alonzo.